The Spanish flu of 1918, the pandemic that killed more than WWI. In 1918, just as World War I was winding down, soldiers began to fall ill, not from the battlefield, but from a mysterious and rapidly spreading illness. It crept into military camps before exploding across the globe. Within a matter of months, humanity was grappling with one of the deadliest pandemics in history. What set this flu apart from most diseases of its time was its unusual target. It didn't primarily affect the elderly or the frail. Instead, it struck down young, healthy adults, the very same individuals who were fighting in the war. People would wake up feeling perfectly fine, only to be struck down by afternoon, often succumbing within days. Some turned blue from a lack of oxygen, while others drowned as their lungs filled with fluid. Cities struggled to cope as the death toll rose. Hospitals were overwhelmed and coffins became scarce. In some areas, mass graves were dug because there simply wasn't time for proper funerals. Entire families could disappear in the span of a week. Schools closed their doors, businesses shuttered, and public gatherings were banned. But by then, it was already too late. The virus spread rapidly, fueled by the ongoing war. Troop ships ferried infected soldiers across oceans, while trenches, camps, and overcrowded trains became breeding grounds for the illness. Many countries concealed the truth to maintain morale, but Spain was transparent about the outbreak, which is why the flu ended up bearing their name. Doctors were left without vaccines, antibiotics, or a solid grasp of what viruses were. Treatments varied wildly, from overdoses of aspirin to traditional remedies. Masks were worn, sometimes mandated by law, but many resisted. A lot of people thought the threat was blown out of proportion until they started losing their neighbors. By the time the pandemic subsided in 1919, an estimated 50 million people had died, possibly even more. That number surpassed the total casualties of World War I. Yet, for decades, the Spanish flu was largely forgotten, overshadowed by the war itself. This pandemic changed public health forever. Governments began to monitor diseases more closely, and research into viruses gained momentum. The realization that invisible foes could be deadlier than anything seen on the battlefield became a crucial lesson for the future.